Think you're immune to persuasion? Think again. We all like to believe we're rational, that our choices are our own. But persuasion doesn't knock on the front door of logic. It slips in through the side window of emotion. In episode 2, we uncovered 3 powerful emotional fallacies. Fear makes us cautious, sometimes too cautious. Desire tempts us into impulsive decisions. Guilt weighs us down, pushing us to comply. Today, in episode 3, we'll uncover how persuasion sneaks into everyday life. In ads, politics, even casual conversations. And most importantly, how you can defend yourself. Funny ads. How humor lowers your guard. Funny ads create a positive emotional association. You laugh, relax, and link that good feeling to the product. That positive association shortcuts critical thinking, so you remember the mood more than the facts. The result? You're more likely to choose the product later, even if the ad didn't give strong reasons to buy. Serious speeches. Emotion over evidence. When a speaker uses urgency, pride, or fear, listeners feel moved before they evaluate claims. Emotional framing makes complex issues seem simple and urgent, which encourages snap decisions. Facts get sidelined because the feeling created by the speech becomes the main reason people act. Social media influence, peer pressure in pixels, memes, trends, and influencers package emotional cues into bite-sized content that spreads fast. The bandwagon effect, everyone's doing it, and curated social proof make choices feel normal or desirable. Quick, repeated exposure reinforces the emotional message so it feels like common sense. The takeaway: emotions are the shortcut. Whether it's laughter, fear, or belonging, emotions bypass deliberation and push behavior directly. Spotting the emotional hook is the first step to resisting it. Once you name the feeling, you can pause, ask for reasons, and choose more deliberately what it is. Appeal to emotion is a persuasion tactic that targets feelings instead of facts. Instead of proving a claim with evidence, the speaker or ad triggers an emotion that pushes people to accept or act on the message. How it works? Quick breakdown. Fear makes you compliant. Mechanism: threat or danger creates urgency and a desire for safety, so people accept solutions without scrutinizing them. Example: political ads that warn of catastrophe unless you vote a certain way. Defense tip: slow down. Ask, what's the real risk? And request evidence. Desire makes you impulsive. Mechanism: promises of pleasure, status, or reward short-circuit deliberation and encourage immediate action. Example: luxury ads that sell identity and status more than product features. Defense tip: separate the feeling from the facts. Would you still buy this if the promise weren't attached? Guilt makes you obedient. Mechanism: emotional obligation or shame pressures people to comply to relieve discomfort. Example: charity spots showing suffering to compel donations now. Defense tip: reframe the ask, evaluate the organization, and impact before responding. You've got 4 practical defenses that actually work in real time. Below, I'll explain each one, give a quick example you can use immediately, and walk you through a short exercise to practice the habit until it becomes automatic. Pause and reflect what it is. Stop the automatic reaction. A 2 to 5 second pause breaks the emotional momentum so you can think. Why it works. Emotions act fast. Reflection slows the system down and gives your reasoning a chance to catch up. Quick example. Before clicking Buy Now, take 3 deep breaths and count to 5. If the urge fades, you've bought time to evaluate. One-line habit. When you feel a push, say silently, pause. Ask for evidence, what it is. Move the conversation from feelings to facts by requesting proof, sources, or specifics. Why it works. Emotional appeals collapse without evidence. Asking for it forces the persuader to justify the claim. Quick example, if a post claims, "This supplement cures X," reply or think, "What study shows that? Where's the data?" One-line habit. When emotion appears, ask, "How do you know?" Spot the pattern. What it is. Learn to recognize recurring emotional hooks: fear, desire, guilt, bandwagon, scarcity, nostalgia, and label them. Why it works. Naming the technique removes its mystery and reduces its power. Quick example. If an ad repeats, "limited time," label it, "scarcity tactic." The label makes the tactic visible and less persuasive. One-line habit. When you notice a trigger, say, "That's a name of tactic." Practice neutral thinking. What it is, separate the feeling from the decision by asking whether you'd choose the same thing without the emotion. Why it works. It forces a counterfactual that reveals whether the emotion or the facts are driving you. Quick example. Before donating after a guilt-based appeal, ask, "Would I donate if I didn't feel guilty right now?" If yes, check impact and legitimacy. If no, pause. One-line habit. Ask, "Would I still choose this if I felt neutral?" Exercise, walkthrough. Pick a recent ad or post you saw today. Name the emotion it triggers. Fear, desire, guilt, belonging, etc. Pause for 5 seconds.
Would I still choose
Breathe.
this?
Say, pause. Ask for evidence out loud or in your head. What proof is there? Label the tactic. That's an appeal to desire, or that's scarcity. Apply neutral thinking. Would I still do this if I felt neutral? Decide, act, research, or ignore. Repeat this exercise daily for a week with different content. It trains the reflex. Now let's talk about how to fight back. First, pause and reflect. When you feel the pull, stop for a moment. Take a breath. Give yourself 2 to 5 seconds. That tiny pause breaks the emotional momentum. Second, ask for evidence. If someone is tugging at your feelings, shift the conversation to facts. Ask, "How do you know that?" or "Where's the proof?" Emotional claims often collapse when they must stand up to evidence. Third, spot the pattern. Name the tactic you're seeing: fear, desire, guilt, scarcity, bandwagon. Labeling the trick makes it visible and less powerful. Fourth, practice neutral thinking. Ask yourself, "Would I still choose this if I felt neutral right now?" If the answer is no, slow down and investigate. Here's a quick exercise you can do right now. Pick an ad or post you saw today. Name the emotion it triggers. Pause for 5 seconds. Ask for the evidence. Label the tactic. Then ask the neutral question. Decide, act, research, or ignore. Do this every day for a week. The pause, the question, the label, the neutral check. These 4 steps become a habit, and habits are the best defense against manipulation. Logic becomes your armor. Persuasion isn't about logic, it's about emotions. But once you see the trick, you can resist it. This week, watch carefully. Spot the emotional hooks around you in ads, speeches, and conversations, and share them in the comments. Pause 1 second after "watch carefully," and again after "share them in the comments" to emphasize action. Preview the next episode with a single compelling line. In episode 4, we go deeper: how persuasion hides in everyday conversations, and how to respond without being manipulated. Keep the tone curious and slightly urgent to build anticipation. End with the memorable line. Remember, persuasion is everywhere, but logic is your armor. Hold a 2-second pause, then deliver a soft sign